Hey, there I am. Now, let's see if we can do this. Hold on. Hey, can you hear me there?
I can hear you.
All right.
Hey, we hear you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, singer-songwriter Scott Fortmeyer is in the house. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, except Scott couldn't make it. Kurt's here instead.
Kurt, oh my God. Hey, we'll tell you what, it has been one of those kind of nights. I don't know what it was. I think I fell off and hit my head or something like that. But Kurt Fortmeyer, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate that. Of course, we're very thankful that your good friend Chris Bellamy made the introductions here.
Yeah, Chris asked me to join the group, and so when I did, then of course I joined the one that was closing down, and found my way to the new one.
Yeah,
and being who I am, just automatically said, "Hey, will y'all play my music?" So,
yeah, that was awesome.
I've probably known Chris 50 years at least.
Awesome.
I played in high school and stuff. He was already light years ahead of all of us performing back then. I mean, he was doing James Taylor stuff in the 7th grade, that kind of stuff.
So okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
I live in the hills up outside of Nashville on a dead-end road. I raise chickens. I write songs. I'm a good cook. I like walks on the beach. I don't really know what you want to know. I've been writing songs for a long time, and love country music, traditional country music, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, I've run up on a crew of guys here in town that can make the songs I write sound really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like I was writing really good songs, but to really have some of the best players in the world play on them just really helps out.
Uh-huh. Okay. I have the Tiki Man sending me messages here, I think. So.
So click on Be Live on OBS.
I did. Hold on.
Sorry, Kurt.
I hear a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katie May.
That's the mascot here at the chocolate bar.
Miss Katie
See
May.
what happened. Okay. Now.
We have a dog.
How about now?
Here too.
You have a dog what?
How about now?
We have a dog here that that lives with us. She takes care of the chickens, actually. I just feed them, but she takes care of them.
Awesome. So you've been writing music for a long, long time. How long is a long, long time?
We're back on the screen now.
Yes.
Well, I turned 65 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday.
And I got my first band at 13, and I started writing songs right away.
Uh-huh.
But it took a long time before I got any good at it. They say you have to write 100 songs before you can write a good one. But at this point, I feel like I've written at least 100.
Oh, absolutely.
Or more.
Absolutely. I've been listening to a lot of your music, and I tell you what, you're a very talented songwriter.
Well, I'm going to blush now. Is that okay?
Well, of course it's okay if you blush. Now, I kind of mixed things up there leading in. I said I was going to play one song and I played another because I made a mistake. So I led in there with your new. Yes, I led in with Pelicans. Why don't you tell us about that new single?
Okay. Well, actually, I wrote that with a friend of mine named Roy Holdren, who's from Bloomington, Minnesota. But he comes to Nashville 6 or 7 times a year for a week at a time, and we write songs whenever he's here. He hasn't been here since last year, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But we wrote that song a year ago, January, before we had a clue about a pandemic or anything like that. And then it turns out to be, actually, I feel like a really good song for, finally getting to pack up the car and get out and go do that thing that we've all been wanting to do.
Absolutely.
And it's, to me, it's I came up with the concept of people being like pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not too weird, I like in the chorus I say pelicans on the wind, pouches packed and traveling, not looking back at where they've been, just rest a while, then gone again. And I started thinking about people like that. You pack up your car or your backpack or whatever, and you go to the beach. You go out there where nobody can find you and bother you except for the people you want to hang out with.
Right.
And you try not to think about where you came from. and you recharge your saltwater batteries, as they say, and then you move on. And I just thought, well, pelicans are kind of like that. To me, a pelican is an iconic seabird. A lot of people say, oh, no, it's a seagull. And I said, no, when you can see seagulls at the landfill. I'm sorry. They're eating trash and
right.
stuff. But if you see a pelican, you're there. And I was actually writing a song with a producer here in town for his artist that was trying to do some flip-flop kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, I heard y'all talking a while ago about doo-wop country and trop rock and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the new genre has to be doo-wopical.
Doo-wopical. I like that. Yeah, our sponsor is Joe Leo of JBL Legends Travel, and
right.
yeah, he's with Jukebox Legends is the name of his group, and they sing a lot of doo-wop songs.
Right. Well, and really throughout the history of country music, there's doo-wop music in there. Mm-hmm. Ronnie Millsap did a bunch of it.
Oh, is that right?
A bunch of people. But anyway, I forget what I was talking about now. Writing that song. Oh, I came up with the idea and the chorus and the chords to the chorus, just kind of a melody for it and stuff. And Roy came to town, and usually when we sit down together, it's like, well, what you got, or we just talk for a while, maybe come up with an idea or whatever. And I started playing that for him, and he's just like, okay, we're doing that one today, and we started just putting it together and seeing how it would go. And originally it was just me playing the acoustic guitar and the harmonica. There's a YouTube video like that I probably should have deleted by now, but I haven't, And then I got a chance to go in the studio with the guys I play with, and I used the drummer that plays for me, played for Montgomery Gentry for 7 years on the road before coming in off the road to just stay in town. My bass player is also my producer. He's played with Charlie Daniels and Laurie Morgan, and he was Tracy Lawrence's bass player when I first met him.
Oh, wow.
The piano player has played with everybody, Leroy Parnell, and he was Michael Martin Murphy's piano player, and then my guitar player, when I first met him, I was lighting concerts, and I was lighting a Brantley Gilbert, Josh Turner show. Actually, Josh was the headliner.
Okay.
And, I met this guy. He was over there working on the guitars. I thought he was the guitar tech, and I gave him one of my CDs because I do that kind of stuff. And then it turns out that he's the guitar player in the band. And then I met him again at the studio, and he goes, man, I've got your CD. Where did we meet each other? We started talking and everything. And now he's played on all my stuff ever since like 2015 or something like that. He's played on all my stuff. And he's Tim Galloway, and he's played for Jake Owen, and he was Gary Allen's guitar player for a while. And I mean, he said, I don't need to be on the road. I can stay home and make more money, and it's less stress. And so he does that. Guitar Player Magazine had an article on him, or on the 5 hot Nashville guitar players everybody should know about, and they put Tim on the list. He was number 2, but his picture was at the top of the page, And all these guys are great people, too. They're the kind of people you just want to hang with and stuff. I've never met anybody over at the studio that had any kind of bad attitude or anything. Like I was in there one day, and I walked in to take some eggs to my producer, because I raised chickens. And I heard somebody just killing some bluegrass harmonies in the vocal booth. So I sat on the couch. I said, I'm going to listen to this for a while. And it was Marty Raybon from Diamond Rio. He comes walking out.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, dude, what's going on? Just like I was his long-lost best friend. I was at Pat's studio, so I had to be cool,
Yeah.
But so I've been real fortunate in that I've run up on some just world-class players who are also dynamite guys, and they can take my ideas. A lot of times they get asked to play this pop country stuff that they're not really into, and they can play anything. We were doing an album I did in 2014 called One More Night in Nashville, and on the title track, Tim played a guitar part, and I was just joking around. I said, can you make it sound a little bit more like Def Leppard? And he's like, sure, I can do that. And I said, no, man, I'm just kidding with you and stuff. But if you give him an idea to go on, like the guitar solo in Pelicans, I mentioned that I felt like the song kind of had a reggae feel to it, because really I was originally playing it as kind of a bluegrassy country kind of thing, but I just noticed that I was hitting the backbeat on it, and I was like, wow, this has kind of a reggae feel. So when I went to the studio, I said that. And as soon as I said reggae, Tim pulls out his phone and dials up an app on his phone and plugs it into his pedal board and plugs his guitar into it and gets that wah-wah sound. 1960s reggae wah-wah.
Oh, that is very cool.
And that's where he got the sound for that guitar solo. You know, and I'm like, wow, you know.
It always amazes
So
me.
we had a ball recording that. The woman who sings for me, all my harmonies and stuff, she's a real good friend of mine. And she was a 2002 winner at Kerrville Folk Festival in the New Folk Contest. She's a great singer-songwriter and a darling person, you know. And so she actually recorded the vocals at her house and didn't come to the studio because my producer got COVID halfway through this recording process too. So we only got 3 songs in the can so far, but we're getting ready to go and do some more. And I don't want to bore everybody with all this technical talk. I'd rather people listen to songs. But so you already played Pelicans, so that we can't really give you a big lead in.
No, we already played Pelicans, and when you were talking about that little bit of a bluegrassy feel, last week we had our bluegrass show, and we played on the other side of the roost, or the wrong side of the roost. I'm sorry, yeah.
One morning we used to have a rooster that had a really bad attitude. I mean, he was terrible, and he wouldn't come after me unless I was on the other side of the fence because I'd already kicked him once, you know, And I know it sounds bad to be kicking an animal, but when they're crawling up your leg, you got to do something about it, you know. Right. And but they just harassed my wife like crazy. Would chase her around and all this kind of stuff. And we had a friend that said, "Oh, get an umbrella," and you pop the umbrella at them, and it sounds like the wings of a giant predator, and it scares them off, and they won't bother you anymore. But he just tore the umbrella up. I mean, we started buying umbrellas.
That's a bad cock.
Sometimes he was okay, and then times he wasn't, and so one morning, usually I go out and let him out. We lock them up overnight so the coyotes and foxes and raccoons and all that don't get them. And I had worked the night before late, and so my wife got up and went out and let the birds out in the morning. And she comes back in and she goes, "I don't know what's up with that bird. Sometimes he's okay, and sometimes it's like he got up on the wrong side of the roost." And I looked at her and I said, "Never say that to a songwriter." and
instant material.
That song was Roy too. That I wrote Pelicans with. He was in town, and I went to a session that day with him at the Nashville Songwriters Association in a writing room there. And as soon as I told him the idea, we started writing on it, and we just laughed and laughed. He, when I said the line about alpha chicken, he's not the alpha chicken. Roy almost fell out of his chair. I mean, it was pretty funny. The cool thing I like about writing with Roy is a lot of times people go, "Oh, you can't say that in the song," and sometimes I catch myself telling me, "Oh, I probably shouldn't say that," but Roy will indulge my worst impulses, and "Oh, that's got to be in there."
That sounds like somebody we have on this show. I'm not going to name names, Golden.
like I just said, he's probably your Golden.
Yeah,
you're Golden.
Hey, everybody needs a Golden in their life.
Everybody does. I have a question. Were you when you put the rooster up, were you protecting him from the coyotes, or were you protecting the coyotes from him? That's what. That's one way to look at it.
We actually had a coyote attack here one time, and it lost all my adult birds in one night.
I'm sorry about that, but
I just had some babies that I moved outside, and I put the other birds in a big coop, in a new coop, but it didn't have a secure door, and I just had a log leaned up against the door. And about 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard all this noise, and I went out there, and there was 4 coyotes in the fence.
Oh my gosh!
And the coop was open, and there's dead birds everywhere. So yeah, we lock them up at night.
I think Golden thinks that this rooster could have taken him.
I'm sorry?
I think Golden thinks that your rooster could have taken those coyotes.
Maybe how big a boy is he?
Well, he might have. We'll never know because he doesn't live here anymore.
Right. You got to get rid of him.
We've had hickory smoked rooster Q. We've had whatever you get more than one rooster. You can't have more than one rooster. You just can't.
Yeah.
We've had chicken rooster curry, which almost sounds like the name of a blues singer or something.
It really does.
The Rooster Curry Blues Band or something. But
you start talking food, you start talking Golden's language.
Food.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you for sure, everybody, when we played that song last week, we got so many positive comments on that. They loved that song for sure.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. So, are you getting ready to do any live performances soon?
I just booked my first one in over a year, and it's for the 4th of July in downtown Nashville at the Whiskey Bench Saloon. They have a thing on Sunday mornings they call Hidden Nashville, and it's songwriters that nobody knows about.
Oh, very cool.
And I've actually done that show before. It's like there's people like me that people don't know who we are, but even somebody who has a lot of hits, usually people don't know who the songwriters are.
Oh, absolutely.
That's true.
I did a show down there one time, and Jan Buckingham was there, and she and I wrote a song that's on my Americana album called "Can't Cut the Baby in Half," and we've written a couple other songs. That's straight out of the Old Testament. People freak out when they hear that song title, but straight out of the Old Testament. But the story isn't. But that's where I got the idea.
Right.
Sitting in church when I was a kid, and I heard the preacher say something about cutting a baby in half, and I was like,
kind of woke you
King
up.
Solomon in the Old Testament.
What are they doing? What are they doing over there?
But so anyway, Jan wrote several big hits for Pam Tillis. She wrote Cleopatra, Queen of Denial.
Oh, that's
she
a great
wrote
song.
Blue Roses, which was a big song for her. She wrote for Lee Greenwood, Whitney Houston, Air Supply, all these people.
Wow.
And so I've written several songs with her. When I told her the idea about Can't Cut the Baby in Half, she looks at me and she goes, I want to write with you every day. And then other people will hear that song and go, you can bet nobody else was writing that song in Nashville that day.
That's true.
But I always try to go different places than where people go with songs. I don't want to just do the same old everything.
Right.
It's like, if that song's already been written, I don't want to write it again.
Right.
Or I'll take what somebody says and I'll say, well, you think it means this, but what else could it mean? It could mean this, it could mean that. I play with words all the time. I used to tell people I love words. They say so much.
Right. Well, how about I'm going to go ahead since like I said, I messed up here in the beginning. I played Pelicans when I was going to play that in the middle of the interview. So, and I introduced actually your other song, "A Beer in the Hand."
Right.
I love that song. So how about we play that song real quick, and then we'll come back and you can tell us about it.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Kurt Fortmeyer at Beer in the Hand here.
I got me a deck chair with bicycle tires and a great place to park it out here. The sign on the back says this guitar's for hire, and I'll play for food, for girls and or beer. It's an easy life. Someone's gotta do it. You might think it ain't right, but I tell you what I always say is, when it comes down to it, a beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. I don't go looking for clams, 'cause that ain't what I dig. It's not 'cause I'm lazy, it's just that I'm saving up my energy for moments like this, when a beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. I don't fish or swim, I don't even wade. I'd rather hang loose than hang ten. If I get the urge to catch me a wave, I just wait for the tide to roll in. If life is a song, mine is a slow one. So pull up a chair, sing along if you dare, but hey, first, could you bring me a cold one? A beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. I don't go looking for clams, 'cause that ain't what I dig. It's not 'cause I'm lazy, it's just that I'm saving up my energy for moments like this, when a beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. I think that December can't get any better than sunshine, cervezas, and palm trees. There's an angel who's covered in sweet cocoa butter. She likes to come rub it on me while I play my guitar. She loves the way I twang it. She'll be here soon and I'm almost in tune. So come on everybody, let's sing it. A beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. I don't go looking for clan, 'cause that ain't what I dig. It's not 'cause I'm lazy, it's just that I'm saving up my energy for moments like this, when a beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. I said a beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge.
Oh, a beer in the hand.
Love it.
There it is.
Oh, and if you have missed it, joining us is singer-songwriter Kurt Fortmeyer. He had a costume change during that song.
He did.
A bit.
So tell us a little bit about that song, Kurt. Can you hear me?
Fortunately passed away a
There
couple
we go.
of years ago.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
I
back.
wrote that song with a friend of mine named C.J. Watson, who passed away a couple of years ago. But we wrote several songs together when he was still alive, and he was well known and well respected in the songwriting community here in town. And he kind of, when I first came to town, he decided I was, part of the crowd or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I swear I got that hook from a Stephen King novel, like the line, "A beer in the hand's worth two in the fridge." Mm-hmm. And then I've gone back and looked, and I haven't been able to find it in the book. But there's a scene in one of his books where these people are walking. I was thinking it was The Stand, but it might have been a different book, where these people are walking, because the whole world has collapsed and there's no electricity and all that doomsday stuff. And they're walking along this road by this creek, and there's a guy sitting out there painting, on a canvas, and he's got beer in the creek to keep it cold. And so he offers everybody a beer, and tells them a beer in the hand's worth two in the fridge, because there's no electricity. So he's using the creek to keep the beer cold. Right. And he says a beer in the hand's worth two in the fridge. And so I wrote that line down. I do this all the time. I have lists of things when I'll hear something or see something somewhere. I'll go, ooh, I have a whole file called Playing Hooky. That's where I put all my hooks, and then when it comes time to write, you just look through them and you go, this is what this could be, or, that could be, or whatever. And so when I wrote with CJ the day we did that, I was going through some of them, and I had done 4 or 5 hooks. And when I said that one, he goes, stop right there. Let's write that one. And so we wrote it, and it's kind of a Jimmy Buffett kind of vibe, I think, that's mostly what it would get compared to by people who have a limited worldview in terms of how much they know about music. There's probably a zillion artists that sounds like, but for the most mainstream listener, they would probably go, oh, that's Jimmy Buffett, or oh, that's Zach Brown, or something like that. I actually have a friend who was Zach Brown's lighting crew, and so I gave Ray a copy of my CD. I said, play this on the bus, man. And actually, the crew travels on a different bus from Zach, so it never got played for Zach or whatever. But Ray fell in love with a different song on the record, because next time I saw him, he was saying, "Man, I love that song, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh, Beer in the Hand, right?" And he goes, "No, A Woman's Touch." And I was like,
"Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah."
Whatever speaks to you, man. So, but yeah, to me, that song is it's pure escapism, and it's about being just so laid back. Originally, we wrote it instead of having the chair with wheels on it and a great place to park it. It was great friends who pulled me out here. It's like the guy was so lazy, he would just sit in the chair and let people take him to the beach. But we got some reactions to people. That sounds like he's in a wheelchair, and that, you're not going to find an artist that wants that song or whatever. And I've got a bunch of songs that I wrote thinking that other artists might want them. And then when it doesn't happen, I was just like, well, I'll just cut it myself, I mean, that's what happened with Pelicans. I actually wrote that for me and for Roy, because it's just, to me, that's a beautiful song. And there's songs that I write that I wouldn't necessarily play on my own shows, but not very many. I don't very often write a song and go, "Oh, I'm going to write this for somebody else," and it's not anything I would do. But sometimes there's songs that other people really like that I'm just not, it's not me. With Pelicans, I had a major artist. I don't really want to say who it is. I might have told you already on the phone, but they held on to it for a month, and I really thought I was finally going to retire, and then finally after a month they said, "Well, not this time around." And I said, "Well, it needs to be out by the summer, because it's that kind of a song, and I don't want to wait till next summer to try to pitch it to somebody else, or wait for you to decide you want it next summer or whatever." And that guy's new album's out already, so I know he's done cutting.
Right.
He's not going to cut.
So it's a possibility it could end up on a future album. It's a possibility that song
on a future album, but a lot of times, once the song is out, people don't want to touch it because they want everybody to think they're writing their own songs.
Okay.
That comes and goes in Nashville. There's times when they're, Tim McGraw had a huge hit with a song called "Angry All the Time," and it was actually by Charlie Robeson in Texas, and Charlie had a big hit with it in Texas, and Tim heard it and goes, "Oh, I got to cut that song," even though Charlie's had it out already. Darius Rucker did "Wagon Wheel," and that's been done a zillion times. But he was at a talent show at his kid's middle school, and some kids got up and played that song, and everybody in the audience sang. And Darius goes, "I got to cut that song because it's going to be a hit,"
Right.
And so I'm hoping that with Pelicans, first of all, I just hope that everybody gets to hear it, because I think it's a song that people need to hear. But it would be really cool also if somebody picked it up, but I'm not living for that, Well, I really live to write the songs and play them for people.
Well, it's definitely seeing a life here at Tiki Man Radio for sure. People that have heard it, they love it. We've gotten a very positive response from it. So and you can tell just by talking to you, that song was definitely kind of a labor of love.
Oh, yeah. I don't really have it in me to write songs I don't like, and the ones that speak to me, is even like, I used to do I don't do any cover songs anymore when I play. If I go out and do a 2-hour show, it's going to be nothing but my songs. Yeah. And I can do that, and you won't be bored, I promise. But I used to cover songs, but I was never somebody that said, "Oh, in order to get this gig playing at this place, I have to learn this song by the Eagles and that song by Buffett and this song by so-and-so, and I have to have this list that everybody else is, Brown Eyed Girl, and all the songs that everybody's playing." Right. That is not me. I've never been everybody else. Yeah. I'm being me because everybody else is spoken for, Yeah.
Well, Kurt, can you tell everybody where they can get your music at?
If you want to just listen online, you can go. I'm on Spotify, and I'd love to have some more listeners on there. I'm on Pandora. And that's all for listening. If you want to buy music, it's on all the Amazon and iTunes and all that kind of stuff. But Bandcamp is my favorite. Bandcamp.com, and they take 15% of the sales, off the top to pay for running their site and everything. But once a month, they do what they call Bandcamp Friday, where they don't take anything, and all the money. They started doing this during the pandemic because they knew a lot of people were suffering. All the money goes straight to the artist if you buy it on Bandcamp Friday. And on there I have, I want to say 4 albums and an EP and a live show from a radio show like eons ago.
Awesome.
Where it's not it was edited where there's no talking or anything. It's just like 8 songs I did live on the radio show. It's me and acoustic guitar and harmonica in the studio. Somewhere I probably have the whole show, and I have some stuff like that where I've been on radio shows. I'm on YouTube if you want to watch that kind of stuff. There's a show in Miami on the public radio station there, the NPR affiliate, WMPL, and on Sundays they do a folk and acoustic show. Michael Stock has been doing it for years and years and years, and I've been live on his show 4 or 5 times. And what happens is I go on the show and I talk like this and play songs live for him and stuff in the studio, and he archives it all, and he's got listeners all over the world. And
awesome.
There's all different kinds of music on there from me. I do a little bit of all kinds of stuff. I've been in blues bands, and I play bluegrassy kind of stuff. Traditional country I'm huge on. Been in rock and roll bands. I'm not like a heavy metal screamer or whatever, but old time rock and roll. I mean, that speaks to my soul.
Yeah. Can you tell everybody one more time where they can see you live, where your next show is going to be?
My next show is going to be in Nashville, downtown Nashville, at the Whiskey Bench Saloon on the 4th of July in the morning, doing the Hidden Nashville show. I also play, and I need to find out because I'm going to Florida in August for a week, and there's a place in North Miami I play called the Luna Star Cafe. And I don't know if they're back up and running since the pandemic. I know they shut down for a while, and I actually was involved in some virtual open mics there because I made a lot of friends there. It's like a home club to me, even though it's in Miami,
Right.
And the people there are like, the people that come see me at that place are like, retired English professors and people that run arts councils, and it's a real mixed club. It's like everybody that's in there is black and white and island people and just whatever, and it's a real cool. It's almost like a Greenwich Village folk club or jazz club moved to Miami.
Awesome.
And I do real well there. There's people that come. I was playing one night. I have a song called Jack in Common, and I just forgot the words.
Oh no!
I'm just going like, and all of a sudden I'm like, and this guy in the front row just told me what the line was because he'd seen me before and bought one of my CDs, and I was like, cool, thanks, buddy. But yeah, so I meant to try to find out before tonight if I was going to be playing down there. I might be playing down in Miami the first week in August, but I need to talk to those people because I'm not sure if they ever got back up. They had to close down because of COVID, and their landlord was being, well, you got to pay me rent or you got to move out. And this place has been there for like 15 years or something. I mean, it's an established place.
Well,
but,
for sure, everybody. I think things are slowly getting back to normal, and we're definitely thankful of that. We're gonna have to let you fly, but we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on and introducing yourself and letting us hear some of your music. And definitely for those out there, you need to check out Kurt Fortmeyer and his music. A lot of great songs, and we're actually going to leave you guys with a song called "What's Not to Love About That." Hey, Kurt, take it easy. We'll talk to you on the other side.
Thanks so much for having me on, y'all.
Thanks, Kurt.
Yes, ma'am.